Okay, let's see. Testing, testing. Is everything working? Is this okay? Hi, Mr. Ramos. My name is Chance Miller. I am 38 years old. Originally, I'm from the Madison, Wisconsin area. I migrated my way out this way back in 2011. I've been here since then. I've had numerous jobs. Uh, My area of study, however, is going to be nursing, which I hope will be the final job I'll ever have because I was a caregiver. I want to be a nurse, and I think that would be a great job for me because I actually liked how I performed as a caregiver, and I would go into detail about that, but um, I don't know what I can and cannot say that would violate the HIPAA law. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and just be kind of vague about just having worked as a caregiver. Uh, Sorry if that's not, I'm sorry if I get too vague with that, but because this video is also going to be made public record for TCC classes, or at least this communications class, I wish to not put a lot of things out there that may or may not put me in jeopardy, and I don't want to take that risk, so I'm sorry. My hobbies are just basically digital video and digital picture editing. I used to be a locksmith's apprentice, and I used to play with locks as a hobby, but I don't do that job anymore. I did that job back in, I want to say 2007, if memory serves me correct, and I actually was here in 2007 originally, uh, following my dreams of being a locksmith. I did accomplish that finally. Uh, I guess. Well, no, I guess you could say I kind of followed that dream and accomplished it in Baltimore, Maryland, then Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then here in Tacoma, Washington. But that dream was cut short because I had to go back to Wisconsin uh, before my mom ended up going into a hospital. I thought she was actually dying, and I wanted to be there for her. Since then, I've never really picked it up again, and I ended up coming back out here. You know, just because I wanted to get away from the cold, cold winters and icy roads of Wisconsin, which this area of Tacoma, or this area of Washington, Puget Sound region, hardly sees any snow. I'm all right with that. Uh, but my dream job would be nursing. As I said, I was a caregiver, and I I want to be a nurse. That's my area of study. So I want to do that job. I've had many jobs since then, or since uh, being a caregiver in Washington. I actually was a courier delivering medical products to hospitals up and down Puget Sound, and so I've had a few jobs where at one point or another I was involved in the medical profession, as it were. Outside of that. Is my computer? Oh, okay, good. My computer's still running. It's still working. I thought I was having a glitch here. Sorry about that. Uh, so I guess as part of my other question, or part of the other set of questions here is, what would upset me, or what upsets me the most? And I guess it's just people's ignorance, because I see a lot of things happening in society, and I really don't like how people are presenting themselves, and I don't like how people respond to each other, which you know. I don't I don't really see a lot of people having reasonable discussions about things and talking about things in a reasonable manner, and I think a lot of people are too easy to get offended, and that really upsets me a lot. Um, you know, but I'm always willing to sit down with anybody, have a responsible conversation, just a responsible dialogue, and it doesn't have to be about me being right or you being right. It just we have to just be able to talk about our perception and just say, this is how I see it. You obviously see it a different way. You know, what is it? What do you think it would take for the two sides who see things differently to come together as one and look beyond that and just behave accordingly? Yeah. So one of the other questions I guess was asked for this assignment is, who do I admire the most? And that would be my mom. She raised me all by herself and taught me how to be the person that I am in terms of politeness and respectful and just how I carry myself as a human being. Uh, she really did a lot for me. She even when I had speech therapy, uh, she decided that speech therapy wasn't for me because I had a huge stuttering problem. I still have stuttering issues, but I have actually moved beyond that. My mother had sat me down with a dictionary. She decided that uh, speech therapy was not the best way for me to get over things. She couldn't afford it. Her insurance actually could not afford it. And she said, I don't want my son having to deal with the indignity of people knowing that he's going through speech therapy. So she sat me down with a dictionary and improved my vocabulary a tiny bit, but also improved my reading ability very well. And I think that worked out to my benefit. So what's not to like about that? Um, and if I had an opportunity to talk to anyone living or dead, it would be my grandfather, my dad's dad, because I didn't get to know him all that long. 3 years for from the time I was born until 3 years old. I only got to know him that long, and I wasn't able to form words yet, so I couldn't have a conversation with the man. And I feel kind of robbed. That's one of those instances where life just isn't fair to anybody. You know. As far as what makes me the most upset, I don't know if I covered this. I think I might have. People's ignorance. You know, things like that. I don't like when people just get so easily offended. Um, the characteristics I look for in a person is just to be able to actually hold a decent conversation without each other talking over each other or trying to be right, like, trying to make it so that their point is more right than the others. I like to talk about perspectives because I like to put a lot of things into perspective. That's just who I am. I don't like having to basically compete for. I like to provoke people into uh, objective thinking would be the term, because I don't think enough people think objectively about a situation. People just throw out comments just to make people mad, and they like to watch the world burn. Those types of people uh, are not people I can talk to. They're people, they're characteristics, they're types of personalities I will never get along with. And I guess that would also be a throwback to what also upsets me, because people like to watch the world burn. How about we just start putting the fires out? How about we learn to put the fires out and just, sit down and have a dialogue? It'd be great. Um, yeah. And I guess for the final question would be, you know, what what is the one thing you are best at? Well, that's a question I don't know how to answer truthfully, because for me, this question is not specific enough. I felt that this was one of those that was just little difficult to answer because I wasn't sure if it was what I'm better at than anybody else, or what do I feel I do the best out of all the things I've ever done. What do I feel I do the best? Uh, and it's kind of hard to pick from that list, but I guess I throw it back to my hobbies because I like to do digital picture editing, but I also, as I said, was a locksmith's apprentice, and I used to like to play with locks and my lock tools, and those were two things out of all the things I've ever done. Those are the two things I've done that I could do the best because I feel like I could do what it takes uh, to get the job done, but also have a fun time doing it. And plus, digital video editing. I used to edit a lot of people's videos. I used to edit a lot of wedding videos and put music on top of that, and it was great. So, but that's basically it for me. Once again, my name is Chance Miller, and thank you for taking the time to listen to me, Professor Ramos. I look forward to this summer quarter here at Tacoma Community College, and it's going to be a little different not having to go to a classroom to actually be involved with a class. So this is kind of new to me, and once again, thank you very much for your time and attention, and I hope to talk to you soon. Forward.